Sivaya Nama Tiruchitrambalam. Welcome back to our discussion on Sokkanatha Venba, verse number 49. The verse goes this way. Ekaalam Thagangal ittidumo, Kayangal Ekaalam Asaisinam ittidumo. Ekaalam Nallar Gunam Varumo, Nada Ellamumai Allane Sokkanatha. Today's verse, we have to honestly split and read this verse. The first two lines especially, when we split it, the meaning is so clear. Ekaalam Thagangal ittidumo. That is the first phrase. Ekaalam Kayangal ittidumo. That is the second phrase. Ekaalam Asai ittidumo. That is the third phrase. Ekaalam Sinam ittidumo. This is the fourth phrase. So the way how we look at it is, ittidumo means completely goes away from us, eradicating from us. So these four statements are raising a question to Lord Siva itself to say, "Oh Lord Siva, the one that is binding us today in this world, there are four things. One is the desires I have. The desires, when you look at it, there are two things that we can categorize these desires as. One is something that is a very genuine desire. Another one is something which is not a correct one. It is something that we shouldn't even desire for, but as of today we do have. Those are the unethical or the illegal desires. So what are the honest desires that we have as of today? I want to eat a particular food, or I want to visit a particular place, or I want to wear a nice dress. These are all going to be the desires. That is also going to bring us into this vicious cycle of death and birth. So the first thing we need to get rid of is the desire. The second one is the unethical desires, which is basically to sabotage someone and acquire what belongs to them, which doesn't belong to us. It is someone else's property, but unethically or illegally, when we try to acquire those, that becomes another type of desire. That is what our verse talks about over here as well. So the first thing is, we need to get rid of the desires which is illegal or unethical, and at the same time the normal desires that we have. Once we get rid of this itself, the third thing that we may be asking for is, when am I going to get rid of this body? And here our guru is not talking about body, but they are talking about bodies, which is to say, because according to our saintly verses, our Siddhantam as well as Tirumurai, they say that we do have 87 lakhs of birth, which is almost like 8 mil types of birth. Now when you talk about this different types of births, all these are getting different bodies. So which means we need to get rid of these bodies, which also implies that we need to break this vicious cycle of birth and death. So we need to get rid of desires, we need to get rid of this body, and at the same time, which is nothing but we need to get rid of the birth and death cycle. The third thing that we need to get rid of is the anger, or the fourth thing rather. We need to get rid of anger, because as of today, whatever we are doing or we are thinking or we are speaking about in anger, are these going to be pleasant? No. Is this going to please someone? No. When we say something in anger, we are not happy, neither the other person. When we do something in anger, we are not happy, neither the other person. So which means whenever we are acting in anger, we are accumulating more karma. So once we get rid of all these, the four things, which is anger, desires, unethical desires, as well as these body, then obviously we are going to have all those that is desired. That is what here our guru is calling it as Nallar Gunam. The qualities that is going to be saintly in nature, we need to acquire those. And how are we going to do it? Is it going to be happening all of a sudden? Can we do something about it? Obviously, the answer is no. The only way to acquire this is by Lord Shiva's grace. He has to bestow us with this grace. That is what he says. Lord Shiva is the one who is nothing, but at the same time he is everything. You look at Lord Shiva, can we describe who is Lord Shiva? No. But at the same time, we can also talk about everything that belongs to him. So that is what verse number 49 is all about. It's a beautiful prayer that we have to utter on a daily basis to Lord Shiva to get rid of this anger and at the same time desire. I'll come back again with the next verse very soon. Until then, Sivaya Nama, Tiruchitrambalam.